Welcome to the Parkland Report. I'm Stephanie Stewart, your host, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Workforce Innovation here at Parkland College. And today we're going to talk about all of the things happening with student services here at Parkland College. And so our guest for today is Dr. Mike Tramey, Vice President for Student Services.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Stephanie. It's great to be here.
Yeah, no, thank you for coming on. I think we have this conversation annually.
Yes.
Always engaging and always new things happening for
That's
our
right.
students.
That's right.
We were talking a little bit before the show was going to get started, just about your journey at Parkland. You've been in the athletic realm and now in administration. So can you share a little bit with our viewers?
Sure, yeah. In 2004, I joined Parkland coming out of a successful high school coaching stint as Parkland's women's volleyball coach. So I did that as well as the academic advisor for the athletes, making sure that classes were scheduled and grades were good for all of our student athletes. And I did that for about 5 years. I took a journey across town to the university, did that for a little while, came back as the director of the assessment center. So I did some testing work while we were here. Then the Dean of Enrollment Management, Parkland's first Dean of Enrollment Management, as they added that position in 2015. Or 14, and then in 2015 I had the opportunity to become Vice President for Student Services.
So you've seen lots of different dimensions of our operation.
Yeah, a little bit of everything. I've worked at the university, did some admissions and records work and some advising work too. So I've done most aspects of student services at one time or another. So
that's great. You walked in the shoes of your team, which is really wonderful. And we'll start to talk about all those parts and pieces here.
Great.
But first of all, I know that I guess a good piece of news you get to deliver is about our enrollment right now.
Yeah, right now, definitely good news.
That?
Yeah. So the fall numbers are looking like somewhere around a 2.5% increase in both what we call student head count, which is the number of students on campus, and FTE, which is the amount of credit hours that students take. So about a 2.5% increase in both, which compared to 4 or 5 years ago when we were on a little bit of a retraction in terms of enrollment, that's positive numbers are good numbers right now. And so we're very happy to be in that. Our admissions and records team and led by Dean Smigelski as Dean of Enrollment Management have done a great job in trying to make sure that we're climbing back towards positive enrollment every year.
That's great. And your admissions team is really working with students to get into the institution. So can you talk about their work and why it's so important for those students that may think that they're ready to come back to us?
Yeah, a lot of our students, Dr. Lau, our president, talks about the on-ramp and off-ramp that our students take. And a lot of times our students do take off-ramps where they came to us right out of high school or shortly thereafter and weren't quite ready, and then are retraining for either a new career later on in life or deciding to finish a degree because they've been maybe doing something else, raising a family, etc. And so they come back and decide it's time for higher ed, and Parkland's a great foray back into that higher ed sector in their education. And so our team does a fantastic job of meeting with them, assessing what credits that they have from their past experience, what credits they may need for their new pursuits, and then getting them enrolled with those courses. And our advising team does some work in there too, where they evaluate that degree progression and what those steps will be in the future. So those two teams operate really smoothly together and provide a seamless experience for students that want to come and give Parkland a try, even if they've been out for a while. So.
Yeah, and you had mentioned assessment, which could be a scary word if you've been out of the game for a while, or you're not sure, if you haven't taken a math test in a long time. So what can students expect when they go to that assessment step of the enrollment process?
Great question. Assessment is a lot different than it used to be. We used to be very dependent upon one or two assessment methods and just the testing route predominantly. But really over the last 4 or 5 years, both in state law and Parkland policy, we've seen some changes to broaden that assessment category where we have accepted multiple measures as a way to assess. So you can prove that you're ready for a college math class in any number of ways, whether it be high school GPA or standardized test score from that realm or previous coursework taken, all kinds of different ways. So come on in and let our assessment team figure that out for you would be my advice to any student who's thinking about coming in and might be scared at that assessment language. So.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the other part is how do I put together the funding to come to school? And so can you talk about the work of financial aid? Because again, that's another, I think, one of those scary things on the horizon that could be a hurdle for somebody.
Yeah, and that's one of the fantastic things about a place like Parkland. Really, there are so many opportunities to have financial help with coming back and paying for schooling, whether it be federal aid programs such as Pell or SEOG, state programs like MAP, other discipline-specific programs like SWIFT, which you're very familiar with, and that piece. There are all kinds of funding options. So coming back in and allowing the financial aid team to start off that conversation and getting help to complete the FAFSA form is the first step, but then there's many conversations that will happen after that about what funding opportunities there may be for a student in your particular case.
Yeah, those are really great points and sort of great leads for people thinking about what that will entail. And I think something that surprises community members is how affordable our tuition is.
Yeah.
I mean, can you talk about like what the real price is?
Yeah,
right?
I mean the real price when you start thinking of a credit hours tuition and mandatory fees at Parkland is about $178.50. And so if you compare that to most tuition rates at four-year institutions, either the regionals like an Eastern or Western, an ISU or a U of I, you're going to look at tuition bills that are much, much higher than that. And so the affordability at Parkland for a really good quality education is it's second to none. And so I always encourage students to think about that route as they're trying to figure out what is that higher ed journey for them.
That's a really great point. So we'll go ahead and pause here. We'll go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we'll talk all about student engagement and support here at Parkland.
Business classes is a great foundation. It can give you the skills to first learn how to be successful in the academic setting, but the skills that you learn in business are applicable in any job that you might have in the future. Every place that you would end up working at needs to have someone that understands how to take care of customers, control expenses, generate revenues, and make sure that you're not spending more than you're bringing in. One of the things we do in business is not just manage operations and generate profit, control expenses, but we manage risk. And Parkland's a great place to manage the risk of taking on the expense of tuition expenses, the expenses of getting a higher education. You have a lot of flexibility. You don't have to take 3, 4, 5 classes at a semester. You can take one at a time. The price is much more reasonable than going to a 4-year university. At Parkland, I teach Business 101, which is the introduction into business, and it's a survey class, and we look at a lot of things, but we study each of the 5 parts of a business: human resources, operations management, finance, marketing, and IT. And we figure out how we manage a business using those things. I teach a business communications class, which has components of business writing for email communications and creating reports. And then there's a component that's interpersonal communication, which is essential. I teach Marketing 101 and a Management 112 class, which is really HR policy. A business can help you in your personal life by organizing what you bring in and what you expend, becoming a better consumer, so you understand what you're buying, understand some of your consumer behaviors, so that you just spend your money more wisely and prepare for the future. And business skills, any business you go into, any organization you go to work for, they bring people in, they bring money in, revenue, they have customers, and they need to at least operate at a break-even point to stay sustainable. It doesn't matter if you go into art, theater, medicine, construction, you're going to have elements where you have to control your expenses. You have people that you need to lead and organize to get something done, whatever the purpose of the business is. So the skills are, I think, essential for you to be able to manage your personal life as well as be successful in the workplace.
Welcome back to the Parkland Report. We're picking up on our conversation with Dr. Mike Tramey, Vice President for Student Services.
Thank you.
There's a lot of ways as well that your team is sort of engaging and supporting our students through a variety of different mechanisms. And maybe starting on maybe more of a somber note is just thinking about how we're supporting students' mental health needs.
Yeah,
we do a lot.
Yeah, an incredible amount. We have a really comprehensive mental health approach here at Parkland, including having 5 fully licensed and trained mental health counselors on staff who are here to meet students' needs, and all of the services we provide, whether it be counseling or tutoring, are aimed at helping the students complete their degree paths and marching towards those student success goals. But students can have different challenges along the way, and that mental health team with our Counseling Support Center really does a fantastic job of helping students through anything that may be impeding their progress. So whether that be anxiety type of things, test anxiety, academic-based anxiety pieces, anxiety outside the academic setting, whether it be students are wrestling with other mental health needs, that's a big piece of what our generation of students is grappling with, and we want to be there to help make sure that those things don't get in the way of their academic progress and success. So
yeah, we hear a lot of conversation externally about just the rise in mental health needs, and I know our leadership team has talked a lot about what we're seeing here at Parkland.
Yeah, and we do. We've seen upticks in depression and anxiety and those kinds of things. I think one of the things, again, that separates Parkland is its commitment to our students' work in those realms, and making sure that that's not a reason why our students don't succeed, that they've got a resource and an option to say, I'm going to succeed despite whatever I'm dealing with. And that is so appreciated both from a financial standpoint and a support standpoint, that the administration from Dr. Lau down really puts a good effort into those counseling services pieces. And the support ones that go with it, accessibility services and academic advising, are kind of all part of that chain. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask a little bit more about accessibility services and sort of the breadth of services that they provide, and kind of coming alongside our faculty, students in the classroom, and all of that.
Yeah, we've got a great team in accessibility services that help students no matter what their learning challenges might be. And so all a student has to do is pop in and get registered with them, fill out some paperwork early on, and then they'll help work through what any accommodations that might be needed to help them meet their academic goals. So it could be things that they have a situation that they need extended time on tests, or they need work with a note taker or a test reader, those kinds of things, to things that are more individualized per their situation. And our team is really good about walking through each student's circumstance, evaluating them independently, and finding out what is it that student needs to help be successful under the law and under the guidance of their Parkland faculty.
Yeah, no, that's so important. And thinking about like eliminating the barriers, that's a great example. And then you had mentioned advising, a student coming in, and what the work of the advisor and how that's a connector between that student and faculty. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, it really is. It is the kind of connection there. And one of the pieces we've been very intentional about over the last few years is the understanding that the more sense of belonging that a student has with an institution, the more likely they are to be successful academically. And part of that sense of belonging is people that they can trust in their corner. And that academic advisor, we're really working hard to position as one of those trusted figures. Obviously, the faculty member is the person that the student spends the most amount of time with, so that relationship has to be strong. But also having somebody else outside of the classroom to help the student stay on track with planning their coursework and what to take and when to take it, to helping the student navigate maybe challenges that pop up in the middle of the semester that are unexpected. Those advisors are awesome at just giving the student that sounding board, that extra attaboy or attagirl to help get them across the finish line in that semester and provide that service in a professional and caring manner.
Yeah, no, and that sort of network of support, right? Building out that network of support. Another area, I mean, you oversee so many different aspects of the college, Dr. Tramey, but student life and getting engaged and making friends and exploring new areas. So unlock the world of student life for us. And what does that include?
Yeah, that's one of my favorite parts because it really is. I mean, the learning that a student goes through here inside the classroom is a large portion of their growth and development, but not the only. And our students come, many right out of high school, and so they're still in that adolescent phase of exploring life and figuring out what they want to do. And with that comes kind of a non-academic growth and development piece of what it means to be a good citizen, what it means to be a good person, what their interests are in addition to their academic pursuit. And student life really affords all kinds of opportunities. It has a leadership academy that helps students develop leadership skills. It puts on all kinds of student programming, everything that starts the semester with our fall convocation and then goes all throughout the semester, all the way up through finals and some study times and breaks there, but really gives students a chance to explore. It's the home of our prospectus, our student publication, where they do newspaper writing and podcasting, kind of in the vein of many of the social media and other news sources out there today, to give students that want to try that a chance. It is home to our student government, so it's a place where students can practice those citizenry skills and components that will help them throughout their lifetime. And so just a fantastic place for students to feel a part of something and make new friends and things that go along with what they do inside the classroom.
Yeah, I've had the chance to spend time in particular with some of the student government leaders throughout the years, and it's always so refreshing to see how engaged they are and how excited they are about making a difference and having that voice of their classmates.
Another thing students may not know, or people might know, is we have a very robust student club and organization group, and so headed by Titus, our student life director, and if a student wants to form a club or an organization for they and other students to become a part of and develop, they can do that very easily. They just have to put some students together and develop a charter of what they want to do and find an advisor here on campus, which we can help with if they don't have one readily coming to mind. And then they can start their own club and organization and do whatever they want to do. We've got some very popular ones on campus that range everywhere from a board and other game club to things that are more topic focused, to service oriented clubs like our APO chapter and our Phi Theta Kappa chapters, and so just a wide range of opportunities for students to find their passion and get involved in something outside of the classroom.
Yeah, it's sort of like the lid is off of all the opportunities, right? You can choose your own way, and so many opportunities for leadership as well within those different groups. Yeah,
and something that's important. I mean, in all aspects of a student's development, that leadership will be key and throughout their lifetime as employees and as parents and whatever life holds for them, that leadership skill is something that can't be taken away and that they will benefit from. So we try to encourage that in as many ways as possible.
Well, another way that you encourage leadership is through our athletics program. And so I want to end on that note and give you an opportunity to brag a little about our athletics program. So give us the total picture of maybe Parkland athletics and our Cobras.
Well, thank you. That's a subject that obviously warms my heart, as my foray into Parkland was through the athletic department. Couldn't be prouder of that group, led by Brendan McHale, our athletic director. We've got 9 sports teams here at Parkland, 5 on the women's side, 4 on the men's side. Soccer's in both, basketball's in both, baseball and softball, and then women's volleyball, golf, and now recently added back to the Parkland's portfolio is cross country. So 9 teams with athletes competing in all kinds of different things, and they do it at such a high level, both on and off their fields or courts, and in the classroom, that we're incredibly proud of them. We've gotten, I think, 9 team national titles in Parkland's history, and a whole lot more individual national titles, and we're in the hunt again this year with some teams that are performing really well.
That's exciting. What do we have to look forward to as the seasons progress?
Good question. So right now in season is women's volleyball, who's currently ranked number 4 in the country and is a perennial national championship contender. So we'll see if Cliff Hastings and company can do another run there in that sport. Both soccers are playing right now, having good seasons. The men's team has been ranked in the top 20 a couple different times already this fall. Women's team kind of climbing back into that. With a new coach and new staff in place, kind of putting their stamp on the program. And then also in season this fall, golf just wrapped up with another 3rd place in a tournament before they switch over into the spring and run their national tournament season is in the spring. And then our cross country team is first time operating since around 2000 when we kind of put that program on pause for a little while, and we're back now with it. And Coach Art George is kind of getting the program up and running again, and hopefully back to a place. We had an individual national champion in Jody Huddleston in 1999, and we're going to try to get back to that level of success before long here. So.
A lot to look forward to, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you again for spending some time
pleasure.
on the show today and
My
coming
pleasure.
back to chat.
Well, it's always a pleasure, and thank you for all you do. And Student Services at Parkland is a great place, and we thank you for bringing that to light.
Thank you. Well, that's it for today's episode of the Parkland Report. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.